Good morning, America. It is great to be an American today. Welcome. My name is Governor Zhang, or as now it is, and I'm running for the President of the United States. My party, the Unicorn Party, has chosen me to be their candidate for this election. As you already know, the current polls aren't looking so good, with billionaire Donald Trump at the top of the Republican Party. But I'm here to change that. I'm here to end his jocular act. As Unicornian, I stand for peace, prosperity, and country. Last year we heard about ISIS, and how their tyrannical and radical ways shook the world's foundations. But now, with ISIS no longer an enormous and ominous threat, I believe that it is time to withdraw our troops from the Middle East once and for all. For far too long, our troops have sat in the Middle East, and now it's time to bring them home with open arms. Furthermore, as president, I will restrict gun sales and require extensive background checks to those who are seeking to purchase one of these weapons. As for trade, I will allow our ports to remain open as long as foreign countries are not a clear threat to our nation and people. North Korea. I believe that after the recession of 2008, our economy is rebounding faster than ever. And to keep that momentum going, I'm not going to require that undocumented immigrants be deported, but allow them to work for our nation, in our nation's interest, and be allowed to obtain citizenship after 7 years. As stated under the law, in addition, I will get rid of Obamacare and make quality, affordable healthcare programs to everyone in the nation. I'll also say this: Common Core sucks, and as soon as I become president, we're saying goodbye to that program permanently. Speaking of our economy, while our economy has been rebounding in recent years, our poverty rate is still at an all-time high since the 90s. With roughly 15% of our nation's population in poverty, about 50 million of us are living in conditions we consider inhumane. These 50 million people live in homeless shelters, their children go to school without any supplies, and they have no savings to send their children to college. These families get sucked into an endless cycle of poverty that they can't outrun. We must act to stop this cycle and begin anew, where the poor don't have to stay poor and everyone can achieve. My resolution is to raise the national minimum wage to $10 an hour, which would provide these hard workers an extra $5,000 a year, allowing them to purchase essentials and even put some money aside for the future of their families. At the same time, I don't intend to let the wealth gap widen any further. Current consensus say that the top 1% of Americans have 40% of our nation's wealth, which is insane. How can we call ourselves equal when the top 1% of rich people have more than the bottom 80% combined? My solution is to increase tax for the upper class and alleviate tax for the poor and middle class. Since these rich people always find a way to lessen their taxes, I'll make sure that they pay the full amount. I will also work towards closing the gender pay gap. As of 2014, the statistics show that women are paid typically only 79% of the salary of men doing the same job. This disparity is ridiculous. Everyone should be paid equally. We are America, after all. The United States is probably the greatest country in the world. But we still have many internal problems to deal with before we can be considered the best country by the rest of the world. I love this country, and as president, I will be putting my all into protecting it and making sure it prospers. I will ensure a balance between state and federal government and make sure that people are always able to maintain their constitutional rights, and many more. It is time for a great change to happen, and I believe I can lead that change. I hope that you guys will consider voting for me in the upcoming presidential election, as I will ensure that your dreams will come true. Isn't that right?